The clock is ticking. Leandro Lo, a man considered untouchable, a 5-time world champion, the scariest, most dominant force in his division, is clinging desperately. A relatively unknown, unassuming purple belt Aussie, a kid who, just months ago, was practically invisible on the global jiu-jitsu radar, has his back. You can hear the commentator's voice, raw with disbelief, crackling through the speakers. He's got the choke, and just like that, 3,000 fans packed into the arena in Espoo, Finland, erupt, losing their collective minds. Freeze that frame in your mind right there. Take a good, long look. Now ask yourself, how in the world does a kid from Adelaide, Australia, a city not exactly known as a jiu-jitsu mecca, a kid who was so broke he almost had to quit the sport just to keep a roof over his head, somehow managed to not only threaten but actually strangle a living legend and completely rewrite jiu-jitsu history before the pizza even has a chance to get cold? It sounds like a Hollywood script, doesn't it? But this isn't fiction. This is the story of a single night that flipped the entire grappling world on its head. And you're going to want to stick around because the answer is truly wild. Section 1. The Invisible Beginner. Let's rewind a bit, shall we? Picture Adelaide, Australia, circa 2016. Forget gleaming, state-of-the-art academies. Craig Jones is training in a humble, tin-roofed garage. The air is often thick with humidity. And the mats? Well, they still carry the faint, earthy scent of yesterday's rain, a testament to the raw, unglamorous grind. He's a good grappler, sure, but in the grand, global scheme of jiu-jitsu, his name barely registers. His most prized possession seems to be a cracked cell phone screen and his entire life savings, a couple hundreds of dollars. The idea of competing at ADCC, the Olympics of submission grappling, wasn't a story of a lucky break or a last-minute invite. He earned his ticket to Finland. Jones clawed his way through the grueling Asia trials, winning the tournament to secure his spot. What's more, this was the second time he'd done it, having also won the trials to qualify for the 2015 ADCC World Championships as a purple belt. But his first trip to the big show ended quickly in the first round against a legend, and he was still largely invisible on the global radar. So he books the cheapest flight he can find, of course. We're talking a grueling 48-hour odyssey, 3 soul-crushing layovers, and a middle seat wedged uncomfortably between 2 snoring strangers. But you don't complain, do you? Because that's what you do when you've battled for your opportunity. You grab it with both hands, even if it means enduring a journey that would make most people reconsider their life choices. He was a kid who had earned his shot but still had everything to prove and almost nothing to lose. A true underdog scraping together every last cent to chase a dream that still seemed utterly unattainable. Section 2. Group of Death. Then came draw day. For Craig, it must have felt less like an official ceremony and more like the unveiling of a horror movie poster. The brackets were announced, and his name was placed squarely in what analysts immediately dubbed the Group of Death, and for good reason. His opponents, a murderer's row of jiu-jitsu royalty. Leandro Lo, the aforementioned 5-time world champion, a force of nature. Murilo Santana, a revered Unity BJJ coach known for his methodical, crushing pressure. Keenan Cornelius, a technical wizard already making waves. And Shande Ribeiro, a legend with multiple world titles, a cornerstone of traditional jiu-jitsu. These weren't just tough competitors, they were titans, each a master of their craft, each with a legacy that dwarfed Jones's nascent career. Analysts, looking at the sheer weight of experience and accolades, didn't mince words. They handed the unknown Aussie a grim 50-1 chance of even surviving the first round. 50-1. That's basically saying you're not just going to lose, you're going to get steamrolled, kid. But Craig, he just shrugged. He walked over, bought himself a €3 energy drink, probably the most extravagant purchase he'd made all week, and with a wry smirk, he famously tweeted, "Guess I'll just heel hook the world." He knew the odds, but he clearly didn't care. He had a plan, even if no one else believed it. Section 3, Match 1. The whistle blows. Craig Jones immediately sits to his guard, a clear invitation. Lo, a pressure-passing maestro, obliges and charges forward. But instead of trying to survive the onslaught, Craig attacks, hunting for a leg entanglement. Lo, a legend for a reason, defends the initial heel hook attempt, rolling to free his knee and escape what he must have thought was the primary danger. But Jones doesn't release his grip. In a moment of sheer genius, he uses Lowe's defensive roll as a ramp. As Lowe turns away to escape the leg lock, Craig masterfully transitions, climbing onto his back and instantly locking in a body triangle. The commentators are stunned. The rear naked choke is sunk deep under the champion's chin. Lowe, a man famous for his grit and for almost never tapping to anything but chokes, is trapped. There is no escape. He taps. The arena for a split second goes silent, a collective gasp. Then it erupts. Pandemonium. The commentators, usually so composed, are shouting in pure astonishment. This wasn't just a win, it was an earthquake. Craig stands up, his hair sticking out in every direction like he literally just rolled out of bed, looking almost bewildered by the chaos he's unleashed. In that exact moment, the grappling world instantly and irrevocably divided into two distinct eras, before this upset and after. An unranked grappler had just submitted the biggest name in the sport by turning his own escape into the setup for the finish. It was a technical masterpiece, a tactical triumph, and a monumental upset all rolled into one. The shockwaves were just beginning. Section 4, the second earthquake. The backstage buzz hasn't even begun to settle. People are still reeling, debating, replaying the Lowe submission in their minds, trying to process what they just witnessed. Then, just 2 hours later, Murilo Santana steps onto the mat. Santana is a different beast entirely. He's coach calm, known for his relentless pressure, his ability to systematically dismantle guards, and, as the saying goes, smash not just his opponent's techniques, but their very dreams. He's a methodical, grinding force, a stark contrast to Lowe's dynamic explosiveness. Many thought this would be the match where Jones's luck ran out, where the seasoned veteran would put the upstart in his place. But Craig, fueled by the seismic shift of his previous victory, is ready. As Santana engages in a shin-to-shin exchange, looking to establish his dominant passing game, Craig seizes the opportunity with lightning speed. He jumps, locking a high triangle from the exchange, a move that's both technically brilliant and incredibly audacious. He angles off, making the position tighter, and squeezes with everything he has. Santana, a man of immense composure and grit, taps, not with a frantic, panicked slap, but with the polite, almost resigned urgency of a man who just realized, mid-elevator ride, that the cable has snapped. It's a quiet, dignified surrender, but no less impactful. 2 matches, 2 submissions, 2 legends dispatched in a single, unbelievable night. The Aussie kid who just a few weeks prior needed a GoFundMe campaign to afford a decent mouth guard, a genuine necessity for any grappler, is suddenly, undeniably, the most dangerous, most talked about man in Finland. He wasn't just winning, he was making statements, one shocking submission at a time. The whispers had turned to shouts, and the grappling world was collectively asking, who is this guy? And what else can he do? Section 5, the run comes to an end. After the whirlwind of day 1, Jones entered the semifinals on the second day. His opponent was Keenan Cornelius, a man already hailed as a technical mastermind and jiu-jitsu innovator. Unlike Lowe's explosive passing or Santana's grinding pressure, Keenan presented a different puzzle, a cerebral, methodical game backed by an encyclopedic knowledge of technique. This was the match where the Cinderella story hit a wall of reality. Keenan, aware of the leg lock danger, played a smart, strategic game. He systematically dismantled Jones's attacks, passed his guard, and racked up points. The match ended in a decisive 13-0 victory on points for Cornelius, who neutralized the Aussie's submission threats and showed his own veteran composure. The fairy tale didn't end with a gold medal. Following the loss to Keenan, Jones moved into the bronze medal match against the legendary Xander Ribeiro. It was another tough, strategic battle. But the veteran Ribeiro's experience showed, and he secured a 2-0 victory. Jones's incredible run in his weight division was over. Medals had eluded him, but the statement was already made. Two of the biggest names in the sport had fallen, and the grappling world had been put on notice. Little did anyone know, the night wasn't over yet. Section 6, Absolute Madness. The individual weight divisions were done, but then came the absolute bracket, the open weight division where size, weight, and reputation often reigned supreme. And who does Craig Jones get paired with? None other than Chael Sonnen, the self-proclaimed gangster from Oregon, a larger-than-life personality, a phenomenal wrestler, and a master of selling wolf tickets, hyping fights with his legendary trash talk. Sonnen was bigger, louder, and certainly more experienced in the high-stakes world of professional combat sports. This was a different kind of challenge, a test of pure grit against a seasoned, powerful opponent. But Jones, by this point, was riding an unstoppable wave of confidence. He didn't hesitate. He dove straight for a heel hook, his now signature weapon, an attack that had been previously dismissed by many as a niche, less legitimate technique. He latched onto Sonnen's leg with the tenacity of a pit bull, twisted, and finished the submission in a jaw-dropping 1 minute and 54 seconds. Another legend. Another submission. It was a resounding declaration. Leg locks, often relegated to the fringes of competition, had just punked the establishment on pay-per-view. His run in the absolute would eventually be stopped by the undisputed king of no-gi, Gordon Ryan, in the quarterfinals. But honestly, the point was already made. His wins weren't just victories, they were a paradigm shift. He didn't need a medal to prove he had arrived. Section 7, the shockwave and the aftermath. The quiet life of the unknown Aussie was officially over. Landing back in Sydney, exhausted but exhilarated, his phone wouldn't stop buzzing with offers for seminars and sponsorships. But then came the text that truly signified the monumental shift. We should talk, from none other than John Danaher, the enigmatic coach behind the notorious Danaher Death Squad. Within a month, Craig Jones had relocated, leaving behind the tin-roofed garage for the brownstone lofts of New York City, joining the fabled team to train with the best in the world. But the shockwaves went far beyond his bank account. They ripped through the very fabric of jiu-jitsu. Before that night, the prevailing ADCC meta favored conservative, wrestling-heavy top control. Leg locks were often viewed with suspicion, even banned in many academies. Jones didn't just ignore those rules, he demolished them, proving that an aggressive, submission-hunting guard could be devastatingly effective. The influence was immediate. YouTube saw a 300% spike in heel hook tutorial searches. Australian grappling registrations doubled, a testament to the Craig Jones effect. Credentials don't win fights, fighters do. The blueprint he laid out that night wasn't just about leg locks. It was a masterclass in rewriting your own story. It's about finding the loophole in the rulebook of your own life and having the courage to exploit it. The next time you face impossible odds, the next time someone counts you out, remember the Aussie kid from the tin-roofed garage, and don't just face the challenge, become the challenge. If this story lit a fire in you, subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started breaking down the moments that change everything.